Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory was an incredible celebration of the Kingdom Hearts series. They really went above and beyond to include so many elements and really tell the full story of Kingdom Hearts in song musical stages. Unfortunately, for as many elements that they did include from the Kingdom Hearts series, it made it all the more glaring when sort of important Kingdom Hearts elements were missing in sort of these musical stages. That's what I'm going to go over in this video, and that is the missing elements from Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory. These missing elements are crucial, well, maybe not crucial, but sort of elements that were prominent in the Kingdom Hearts series in terms of party members, worlds that were just missing from this game for one reason or the other. Some for sort of good justification or reasoning, the others I really can't tell why they were missing, so I'm going to go over them in this video right here. Now, the game sort of presented these musical stages in release order as you're going through all the worlds, so that's the order I'm going to go with this sort of rankings or sort of going through the elements in this video right here, right now. The first element that was quote-unquote missing was the world of Deep Jungle based on Tarzan. This is a world that appeared in Kingdom Hearts 1 and was not represented in the Kingdom Hearts 1 section of Melody of Memory. While it's disappointing, this is not a surprise to any seasoned Kingdom Hearts veteran, as most Kingdom Hearts fans would know. After 2002, when Kingdom Hearts 1 came out, the Edgar Rice Burroughs family, which is the family that owns the rights to Tarzan, put the clamp down on Disney using Tarzan again in any Disney material, which meant that Square Enix and Disney could not use the world of Tarzan Deep Jungle after Kingdom Hearts 1. That's why Tarzan didn't appear, the world did not appear in Chain of Memories, which had all the other Kingdom Hearts 1 worlds in it, and Deep Jungle just has not appeared in any other Kingdom Hearts game since then. So while it's disappointing, it's no surprise that another Kingdom Hearts game, a new Kingdom Hearts game, isn't able to use Deep Jungle, as sort of that status quo is still the same all these years later when it comes to using Tarzan and Disney. The next element that was missing was a musical stage representing the 100 Acre Wood. This is a world based on Winnie the Pooh that first appeared in Kingdom Hearts 1 and has been a staple of the Kingdom Hearts series since then, appearing in Kingdom Hearts 1, Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories, Kingdom Hearts 2, Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep, and its most recent piece of shit appearance in Kingdom Hearts 3. Do not get me started on that. But in terms of appearing in Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory, the only thing I can think of why it wasn't included is that it's not a world that you fought Heartless in, so maybe that's why they thought they didn't have a musical Heartless battling stage in this game. But still, I don't understand why they could not represent the world in one of those musical dive sections, those sections where you sort of glide through the musical notes and stuff like that. I don't understand why they couldn't do something like that, so therefore it doesn't really make sense why this world was excluded entirely from Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory. The next missing element comes from the exclusion of Jack Skellington in the Halloween Town musical stage for Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2. All the other world party members in Kingdom Hearts 1, Ariel, Beast, Aladdin, etc., were all included in their respective worlds, besides Tarzan obviously, but Jack Skellington for some reason was excluded for no really good reason that I can pinpoint. I've seen people try to justify that they excluded him because maybe he's too long and maybe he couldn't fit on the musical stage, battlefield or whatever, but that reasoning doesn't really make any sense, because even though sort of he walks funny in terms of how he moves around compared to other party members, he still moves at the same speed as sort of Donald and Goofy. Even though he is taking long steps, he's taking slower steps, so therefore it doesn't really make sense to sort of exclude him from the musical stage. It stands out as kind of like a weird decision and a disappointing decision, just because Jack Skellington is obviously a fan favorite among many people in the Kingdom Hearts series and Disney movies overall. The next missing element was probably my biggest disappointment of the whole game, and that is the missing element of Port Royal in the Kingdom Hearts 2 section of worlds. I love Pirates of the Caribbean, and Port Royal, along with the Caribbean, is one of my favorite worlds in the whole Kingdom Hearts series, so needless to say, I was extremely disappointed when I got to the Kingdom Hearts 2 world section and there was no Port Royal to be seen. Despite my disappointment, I almost in a way saw this coming, just because from what I can see, the justification for this is that there's a sort of a rights issue that goes with the He's a Pirate theme. For those who don't know, that's the theme that's used, the battle theme used for Port Royal in Kingdom Hearts 2. Well, this theme is actually from the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, and I guess there's sort of, from what I see, there's a rights issue going with the composer of that score, Hans Zimmer, which is why in Kingdom Hearts 3, they opted to use sort of original score for the Caribbean's battle theme as opposed to using He's a Pirate. So that's probably why He's a Pirate doesn't appear in Port Royal, or Port Royal doesn't appear in this game. But still, they could have at least included sort of the regular world field theme as opposed to just excluding the world entirely. I'll get to sort of its exclusion for the Kingdom Hearts 3 section, but as for Kingdom Hearts 2 section, I was extremely disappointed to see no Port Royal represented in any way. The other missing element isn't something that's technically missing, but I felt the need to bring it up anyway in this section, and that's the lack of usage of the 2.5 version of the Kingdom Hearts 2 world themes in this section, the Melody of Memory. Personally, I prefer the 2.5 version of the world themes as opposed to the original world themes, and the explanation I read about this is the fact that they felt the original themes were quote-unquote more nostalgic. While that might be true in a way, I don't think anyone could argue that the 2.5 versions are better than original versions. Just listen to the original version of the Land of Dragons themes compared to the 2.5 version. The 2.5 version is just way better. So I was really looking forward to hearing those versions in this game. We didn't get it. Not terrible though, just the fact that at least we got most of the worlds represented. But personally, it would have been nicer to hear the 2.5 versions in this section. Our next missing element is another party member missing, and that is Tron, missing from the Space Paranoids musical stage. Unlike Jack Skellington, who maybe has some justification that maybe he is too long to sort of fit on the musical stage, this one makes no sense. It's obviously because Tron is normal size, he runs normal. Doesn't really make any sense when Tron was such a big part in Kingdom Hearts 2, so his exclusion just doesn't make no sense from any angle that you look at it. The next missing element doesn't come until the Dream Drop Distance section of worlds, and that is the missing world of Symphony of Sorcery. This is a world based on the movie Fantasia, and this was always going to be sort of a weird world to include in this game as a musical stage, just because this world doesn't have sort of a regular field and battle theme as all the other worlds Disney and original have. This world uses the iconic music, classical music from Fantasia based on the respective segments that are in the world. So you have the Sorcerer's Apprentice, you have the Pastoral Symphony, you have the Nutcracker Suite, and you have Night on Bald Mountain. While obviously these are longer scores and sort of the regular Kingdom Hearts sort of feel or battle theme, it still doesn't really make any sense why they couldn't at least include segments of these classical songs. Specifically, it would have been really cool to have a musical stage based on Night on Bald Mountain. For people who don't know, that's Chernobog's theme. That would have been amazing to hear. It would have been amazing to sort of hear the Sorcerer's Apprentice, or even just using the Pastoral and Nutcracker Suite themes. Those themes were great too, as that was one of my favorite worlds. So being that Symphony of Sorcery was one of my favorite worlds, I think they could have included the world in some way in this game using any one of those musical scores as musical stage segments. Our next missing element is an overarching one, and that is the overarching widespread absence of Kingdom Hearts 3 world themes as musical battle stages in this game. I was always curious how they were going to do sort of the musical stages for the Kingdom Hearts 3 worlds. I'll get to that reasoning a little later on. And then it wasn't a surprise when I saw that all the Kingdom Hearts 3 worlds were only represented with one song, and that song was done as the musical dive stage, which aren't nearly as fun as the combat stages. While this is disappointing, it's to no surprise. For people who don't know about the technical aspect about this game and all the regular worlds in the game were made using the original Kingdom Hearts engine and sort of visual system, to where that system is much easier to recreate the worlds, and obviously it's a lot faster and the Switch can handle it. Whereas opposed to the worlds in Kingdom Hearts 3, which were made using the Unreal Engine, which are obviously super more detailed, look a lot livelier, a lot shinier, a lot more realistic, and just more polished than the regular worlds done in the previous Kingdom Hearts style. So for that reason, they cannot handle sort of the Kingdom Hearts 3 worlds engine-wise in this game in terms of mapping them out in combat stages. Still, I wonder if there was some kind of alternative to sort of doing, as opposed to doing it in sort of these dive sections, or maybe they could sort of pre-map out sort of the world backgrounds and stuff like that, and make it sort of a regular combat stage, so we could hear really sort of the great Kingdom Hearts 3 soundtrack. I mean, I wanted to hear sort of the Toy Box battle theme, the Monstropolis field and battle theme, the Arendelle themes, everything, because Kingdom Hearts 3 has a great soundtrack, and unfortunately it's really just stripped down just because we only get one musical dive stage per world, and that's disappointing just because Kingdom Hearts 3 had some really good world themes in the game. Besides the actual world themes, other great themes that were missing was the Scala ad Caelum theme, and probably my biggest disappointment was no Nort Court theme. The Nort Court is the Ansem, Xemnas, and Young Xehanort battle theme. God, that's one of the few scores that made me almost just like, wow, jaw drop as I heard it. Disappointing not to hear this and other songs get represented in this game. And the final disappointment that I will get to is the lack of representation for the Caribbean in the Kingdom Hearts 3 section of worlds. It was bad enough that we only got one dive section each for each Kingdom Hearts 3 world in this game, but it was an even bigger disappointment to see no Caribbean, which is my favorite Kingdom Hearts 3 Disney World represented in this game in any way. Now, unlike Port Royal, the Caribbean doesn't have the excuse of the copyright issues with He's a Pirate, just because that's the reason they had an original battle theme for the Caribbean in this game, which was a great battle theme, by the way. So the only thing I can think of for why the Caribbean wasn't included is twofold. One might be the legit reason, and that is the fact that there's sort of a licensing likeness right that goes along with including Jack Sparrow in this game. Obviously, Jack Sparrow is played by a celebrity, Johnny Depp, and there's sort of a likeness issue that goes along with including sort of characters obviously based on a celebrity in any kind of media. That's why Giselle from the movie Enchanted isn't included in any Disney princess material, because they would actually have to pay Amy Adams each time they use Giselle in any material, and they don't want to do that. The same could be said for Jack Sparrow, which is why which would make sense, would explain why Port Royal wasn't included in the opening flashback for Kingdom Hearts Coded, or is not included in any way in the sort of the card system for the original browser version of Kingdom Hearts Unchained Key, which had every other Kingdom Hearts Disney World in element represented in card form. So that might be the most likely reason why the Caribbean wasn't included, sort of the likeness issue that goes along with Sparrow and Depp. The other explanation might be the fact that maybe Square Enix and Disney are trying to separate themselves from Johnny Depp. Obviously, Depp's legal issues have been in the news pretty constantly the last few years, and we saw Fantastic Beasts recently separate themselves from Depp by kicking him off the Crimes of Grindelwald, and we've even seen Disney kind of do the same thing, where they're rebooting Pirates of the Caribbean now to have no more Jack Sparrow and obviously no more Johnny Depp. So that might have what happened with this game, where Disney told Square Enix, yo, no more Jack Sparrow and any more Kingdom Hearts games. So we'll have to see if that's sort of an explanation that goes forward, and if Jack Sparrow appears in any more Kingdom Hearts games. Because other than that, I can't really think of any other reason why he wouldn't appear in the game or the world, except there is sort of a likeness issue that goes along with having Depp and Jack Sparrow. So there you go with my list of prominent Kingdom Hearts elements missing from Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory. While this video can come across as really kind of nitpicky, it's only because this game just did an incredible job of celebrating the entire Kingdom Hearts series, including scores and worlds that I never thought we'd see in this game, even when they announced as many songs that they did. And it's because of that it made it all the more sort of noticeable when sort of elements from the Kingdom Hearts series were missing when it comes to party members or just entire worlds as a whole. Disappointing, but I still really enjoyed what Melody of Memory brought to the table in terms of celebrating the whole Kingdom Hearts series, or at least most of the Kingdom Hearts series. I just wish some of these other elements, mainly Port Royal and the Caribbean, got represented in this game as musical stages, but oh well, maybe some kind of DLC will put these missing elements in the game going forward. So that'll do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and as always, thank you for watching.